Just one big joke. It's a fucked up world. Here we are in. I ain't going nowhere.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reason Reborn, episode 19. We are back. Yes, you have the theme song. You will have the podcast on Podbean. I'm slowly uploading episode per episode. So hopefully by the end of this week, I'm off this weekend. We'll have all the Reason Reborn up along with his or her podcast, and then we'll work on the other Wise Guy Gaming sports and entertainment stuff. So, but before that, thank you again for everybody who's responded, commented, watched, liked, all of that. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for supporting this podcast and all our other podcasts as time has gone on. But let's get to the more important stuff, which is first introducing the co-host, the illustrious Cardiacsumo. How are you today, sir?
Illustrious. I like that shit. Well, it wasn't a good day until you just said illustrious, and now it's turned my whole life around.
I mean, you're a cool dude. Hey, if I haven't said it enough on podcast, you guys need to follow him on Twitter at Cardiacsumo. Really cool dude. Again, I can't thank him enough for doing this with me. I really appreciate him. And it's not just alcohol talking. Yes, I've had alcohol, but no, he knows how much I appreciate you. You know how much I appreciate you, right?
That's why I was laughing when we started, because right before we started, you're like, by the way, I'm a little drunk. Let's get going.
It's fine. Also, I have to call you out after I've praised you, because I need you to not quote fucking Killmonger. That line, I'm sorry, but that goddamn thing about bury me with the slaves who jump. I don't know why, but when he said it while I was watching the Black Panther, that pissed me off more than anything he ever did, because it's like, fuck you for trying to be goddamn poetic and making a grand point at the end, you fucking hotep motherfucker. Hate you. It's like he did that to make sure that you don't totally hate him. And I hate that. I really hated that. I hated that line. I'm probably the only person who hates that line, even though I probably will buy a t-shirt with it on it.
I groaned a little bit when he said it, and for some reason I knew it would bother you too, which is why I said it.
Yeah, because it's just like, after all of this, you did the most dumbest shit. You like basically contradicted yourself. You disrespected your ancestry. You came up with this whole mad plan that made no sense. And you dropped that to make me want to try to respect you. I hate you. Hate you, Eric Killmonger.
Good shit.
It's like, but yeah. Anyway,
See, I came with the positivity, and Magus comes with the hate.
Oh, we gotta have.
It's like I'm Adam Warlock, and he's actually the Magus.
Fuck you. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Shout out to my nurse that got that reference.
Yeah. Anyway, so what shenanigans do we start on? Because there's been a million shenanigans.
I wish I could remember the order in which they happened, but it's hard with a flood, man.
There honestly is no order when it comes to Trump. If you're actually looking for order in these days and times, like, it's funny because we legit were discussing when things happened, whether or not they happened during the last podcast, after the last podcast, before the last podcast.
It's happened too. We've had shit break during the podcast.
Yeah, we did, because I think the Ben Carson thing was like during the podcast, and so was the Hope Hicks thing, where she refused to answer questions. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? You guys are crazy, but all right, I'm looking through the thing to see if I can find a jump. I guess the jumping point would be the tariff deal right now. Although I could go into something that I skipped over in our pre-podcast discussion with Jeff Sessions being called Mr. Magoo by President Trump.
Yeah, Trump continuing to talk that shit. Except I don't think this time Sessions actually put up with it, did he? He had like a nice little passive aggressive response.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good damn response, but
what was it like? As long as I'm this motherfucker, we're gonna do shit legally and all that stuff. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Yeah, he basically said that, you know what? I don't care what he says. I'm going to do my job, which for all the shit that Jeff Sessions should get for being a racist and pretty vile motherfucker himself, he does his job. And I can't deny that. He tries to do his job. Even if he doesn't do his job the best, he at least tries to do his job correctly in some aspects. So, you have to give him that credit. He did the right thing when he recused himself, and he let his deputy, handle most of the stuff around the Russian thing because he knew he was a person of interest and he didn't want to do anything conflicting. And it's funny because Trump still hates him for that, but it's like, no, you shouldn't hate him for that, because what if it were the other way around? What if this was something that you absolutely knew that you weren't involved in, and this guy was trying to not go about it the proper way? You would be mad because you would think that he was singling you out or something. So it is what it is. But
with as much process and stuff that's being ignored with this administration, I think you ought to appreciate somebody doing something mildly correct. Yeah. Also, I don't know how people can hate this guy. I mean, anytime I look at him, I just think of the Keebler elf and I just like smile. Like, I
want some cookies so bad when I see that bad.
I don't know who first introduced that. I was talking to a friend the other day and he said that, and like all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, he's so adorable. He's
a racist because he's like this tiny little elfish guy. Like,
yeah, bothers the shit out of me because mentally I know I shouldn't like him, but this fucking guy, man, he's a keeper. He's adorable.
You gotta.
I think he was standing up for somebody working under him. I can't remember who Trump was attacking. That
it was what's his name? Oh gosh, who's this deputy? Rothstein? It's something Steen. I forget what it is. But that's who he was basically defending, because he's been beleaguered because he was the one who okayed the Mueller investigation, and Trump's been on his ass and been trying to find a way to get rid of him for so long. And like Jeff Sessions, like, well, no, he's doing his job. Leave him alone. Like, if your shit's clean, basically, if Trump's shit's clean, he shouldn't be stressing it. In my opinion, but,
I think we all know it's not, but.
Right. But
allegedly.
But no, you gotta love people from the Shire, so don't totally hate Jeff Sessions, okay?
Such a
Bilbo would probably endorse him.
But yeah, he stood up and he got right back at him.
So Trump randomly decided that he wants to impose tariffs on the world because he feels like the trade agreements that the United States have made, in particular NAFTA, with Mexico and Canada, suck, and that we're getting, as far as he's concerned, we're getting done in. He actually made a speech, I believe it was earlier today, either on Twitter or he said publicly last night, how we've lost over $800 billion in these trade agreements, or $8 billion. He made some ludicrous number that, of course, he wouldn't have to back up, because why would you have to back up facts when you're Donald Trump? Facts don't matter in your life. And he just like tried to stress the fact that we're basically getting raked over the coals by foreign governments in these different foreign trade deals, and that he's wants to impose a tariff on all of the imports and exports in the United States, which was set upon a trade war in many people's opinion, because they feel like in retaliation, other companies are going to impose trade tariffs on the United States, and it's just going to be an ugly mess. How do you feel about his declaration of trade war? Do you think that it's a wise thing to do?
Well, first of all, I might be wrong, but I feel like when he originally brought this up, he was responding to the issue with China. The notion that they tend to flood the global market with, I think it's steel in particular, which makes it all
Steel
really.
was the actual catalyst. You're right.
Yeah, they make it cheap, which can hurt our selling power of it, but it also makes it cheaper for everybody who uses it to buy. So it's not all bad necessarily. There is an issue with China, the way they do flood the market with that stuff. That's an existing problem. And I feel like he originally brought this thing up as some sort of strategy to deal with that, which everybody said was stupid, but he kept insisting that. And then at some point, it suddenly became some sort of strong arm tactic he could use to bully Canada and Mexico with the NAFTA agreement we've got to try to get it renegotiated. I don't know where his headspace is, because correct me if I'm wrong, I do feel like he originally mentioned China and then this became about Mexico and Canada. I have not been able to follow his thought process throughout all of this.
Yeah, he kind of just riffs on things. I mean, I can understand why he would go to NAFTA, because he's been huge in his opposition to NAFTA. He thinks NAFTA is the worst thing in the world. He's always railed against it, even when he was campaigning for office.
It's definitely in line with whatever consistent things he actually says. His idea of the global market fucking us has been relatively consistent. So I'm not surprised he's talking about it. It just seemed like, and again, I might have just been caught up in the news cycle or something. It felt like he just shifted to it from China suddenly, but who knows? Maybe I can just go back and read that shit over.
But no, you make a good point, because China and the steel and the way this China does their global market is crazy. I mean, China pulls a lot of weight, and it's kind of funny because we rely on China for a lot of our processed goods. In this country, a lot of companies, major companies, go to China because China does provide a lot of products that are more affordable. Yeah, and we have definitely grown a dependency on them, which is insane, which is I've never understood. Partially because, let's be honest, people like to scream "Made in America," but people also tend to dismiss the fact that the reason why you don't get a lot of "quote unquote" "Made in America" because Americans actually want to be paid for what they do and what they make. Not only paid, but paid a fair wage for it. Whereas in China, for all we give them, we rely on them because they don't pay their people, and they like cut corners and things like that, which saves these corporations, it saves us in costs.
Yeah. And we have domestic businesses and political people representing them that have pointed this out. Like, we buy this metal and shit. We don't want them to retaliate, and they're saying these tariffs are going to hurt American companies, and he doesn't seem to care. You talk about people feeling that there would be retaliation, but people or countries have threatened to retaliate. They are. I can't remember who was threatening this, like the EU or something was threatening to put up tariffs on random shit like pants, like Levi's or something, motorcycles. Like there is talks about actually retaliating for real. It's not that imaginary that they will do that. I think they're a little hesitant to, because they can't tell how serious Trump is or where the fuck this is going. But those countries definitely are thinking about retaliating with their own tariffs. And even this notion about the way China floods the markets and makes those metals cheap and shit. From what China exports, we don't get that much of it. We're a pretty small consumer of China's metal exports, so it's not like these tariffs would hurt them that badly.
Yeah,
I mean, the problem exists, but his strategy to deal with it is really fucking stupid.
Yeah, and I would feel like we would get our heads beat in, because even though there's not a lot of, I would say there's probably not a lot of, how could I put this? Like directly produced items, like you said, with steel, or certain foods, livestock, things like that. We produce a lot of that on our own. But I think where we would get killed would be in the importable luxuries and different things such as electronics, cars,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like that, oil, shit. We import a lot of our oil. That would hurt us, and we go to so many countries for these products that it's not like with, say, England getting tariffs from the United States for like wheat, which we provide a large amount of the world's wheat. That's one ticket item that they could be like, okay, we'll bear under this because that's just something that America has in abundance that it would benefit us to get to. But there's probably like a ton of different things that we look to other countries to get instead of producing them ourselves, that we would be paying tariffs to a lot of different countries,
Sure.
Like I feel like he does not understand our dependency on the rest of the world. And that's the flaw to his whole let's go into a tariff war thing, because we're dependent to a lot of people for a lot of things. We outsource our businesses a hell of a lot.
Yes, I brought up the China thing just because I wanted to sneak it in there because he had mentioned it and it's been a talking point a little bit in the news. But to your original question about his tariff war methodology here, this is definitely in line with his way of thinking. He seems to think that global economics, global trade is this zero-sum game where only America can win and, fuck every other country. He doesn't see trade for what it is, trade back and forth between countries, some sort of, we're all supposed to gain here, not just America. That's one major conceptual problem with it is I don't know if this is just how he operated in business, but it's not how it works with trade. Everybody's supposed to benefit. That's why those countries engage in trade with us. We benefit from it too, first of all. This idea that we just keep getting fucked over by all these other countries is not largely true. I mean, maybe you can pull out some specific example where things aren't, as perfect as they could be, but we do benefit too. We do sell to other countries.
But should it be as perfect as it should be, quote unquote, in certain areas? Like, if they have something that we can't produce or we have a hard time getting our hands on, well, it's kind of like, to me, if I'm the only person who produces, say I own pretty much the majority of the population of cows in the world. Like, cows are indigenous to where I'm from.
Okay.
Shouldn't I ask for a premium for cow's milk because you guys can't sustain an ecosystem to support raising cattle?
Sure. I mean, when I say as perfect as it could be, I just mean, maybe you could, global economics can get complicated. Maybe you can find some particular example where the balance isn't quite right or there's some weird effect happening there. I don't mean necessarily that America gets everything as cheap as humanly possible.
Yeah, no, I only bring that up because I feel like that's his whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
He's trying to make everybody give us a discount.
Sure. He seems to think we should get everything cheap or free and fuck everybody else. They can pay whatever. Again, that's the way he sees this. It's zero sum. No, we can't mutually benefit from this. It has to be America first benefiting and everybody else tough shit, I guess.
Yeah, and it just makes no sense because he's gonna, if this happens, he puts these tariffs, it's gonna affect the whole world and it's gonna make everybody. I mean, again, I do think it'll affect us more than anybody else. But there will be some smaller countries that I know that's just going to get devastated in this because we're kind of cutting them off.
And just a strategy alone, this is just stupid because you have to assume, as most people do, that those other countries will retaliate, if only because they have to. I mean, you're going to have this escalating back and forth where they're slapping tariffs on us. We have to slap them back. Other countries are getting involved. It'll escalate out of control, as many people predict. You know, outside of the president, most people don't think a trade war is a good idea in general. It doesn't work. I don't think it has worked in the past. It's generally not good when it happens. And I think for specific numbers, I think it was 10% on aluminum, 25% on steel across the board.
It makes no sense at all. It's weird because I feel like he's constantly trying these bully tactics when we're not in a position to be a bully anymore. I think it's evidence that the United States' stature in the world has dropped significantly, especially since he's been in charge. And people aren't as scared as they used to, or aren't as willing to coalesce to whatever demands we make, because it's like, no, especially with all the global agreements that have been made in the past decade or so, people are more willing to work with each other, help each other out. Yeah. And Trump is this isolationist that they're fine and comfortable without the United States because the slack can be picked up because everybody else is working together. And I don't think he realizes that.
But I mean, even if we were in such a powerful position, we still shouldn't do it. Other countries, I would assume, would be more willing to deal with us if we were on friendly terms with them. If we're bullying them all the time, they're going to, one, not want to deal with us at all. I mean, they're really going to want to keep us at arm's length if they see that they cannot trust us to play nice and play fair. Why should they deal with us at all if they think that we're a bunch of assholes? It might sound silly if you're, a steel-hearted economist or something, but there is something to be said for being on friendly terms with a business partner.
Oh, no, it's just like China. Most people owe China the world, but China's not a complete dick about the fact that, yeah, we know you owe us a ton of money. We subtly remind you, but at the same time, we're not bullying you about it.
And there's something to be said for that. I mean, it is easier to want to deal with somebody who's not a complete asshole.
Yeah, like I would rather deal with the China like just being the subtle asshole, just like, casually reminding you, yeah, you owe me the money, but it's okay. You can take your time. Like, yeah, that would irk me, but I could deal with that a lot more with you trying to like literally push me to the brink where I'm just like, fuck you, dude.
I mean, we do owe them the money though, so it's not like
yeah, I know, but it's like, yeah, they can again, I'm comfortable with that passive aggressive way of doing it, as opposed to you just trying to just basically embarrass me and trying to, bully me like Trump likes to do. It's like, no, we do have our pride.
And no, these are our allies. He's essentially trying to bully. It's not like he's using these to pressure some enemy countries or something. This is the Canada and Mexico and Europe and shit. These are generally, they're our allies. They've been on friendly terms with us for a while.
Yeah, like, damn it, I'm drinking tequila tonight. Tequila is not that expensive. You put this tariff on Mexico, tequila's going to go up, and I'm not going to be able to enjoy tequila like I've been enjoying tequila. So I need you to stop it. God damn it.
Yeah. Okay. And I mentioned it briefly, but it is worth repeating that there is concerns about how this will affect people here. There's several politicians who point out that this would hurt people in my district or my area over here in our businesses. Like, there is genuine concern about how this will affect American businesses domestically. It's not like this is just going to fuck up other countries' stuff and we'll be fine or whatever.
Yeah.
There is stuff to be concerned with about Americans here. I can't remember the exact number, but I did see a significant number floating around about the potential jobs lost here just because of this.
Yeah, no, you raise the
fairness, I think
Jose Cuervo, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
previous presidents have tried, throwing out tariffs like that too, and it doesn't generally go well.
No, it doesn't. That's why it's funny, because that's kind of why NAFTA was created, to kind of create some type of system where we don't have to go through this. And damn me if this man is wanting to go through this shit.
Crazily, not that many people are backing him up on this. Like, you don't see his normal Trump brigade out here defending this.
Yeah, no,
I think even Paul Ryan was standing up against this.
Yeah, they've been either quiet or they've been openly against it. And
you don't see the normal, like, sometimes he'll say something stupid, but he still has his supporters. Like, pretty much nobody. I remember seeing one random dude with his soup can going around on social media, but other than him, I haven't seen anybody defend this. Again, I think even Paul Ryan went out of his way to say, no, this would hurt us. And yet, it doesn't seem to faze him. I just don't.
That's the thing that bothers me the most. It's like he says these things, he does these things, and he gets openly rejected and probably privately rejected too, but he just sticks by it.
It's not just that he's been rejected too, it's that he didn't seem to consult anybody in the first place. People just seem genuinely shocked, like this wasn't planned. I shouldn't say like this wasn't planned. It seems like it wasn't planned at all. It seems like he just decided or came out and said it. I don't know what the process for this kind of thing is, but it seems like he didn't follow it.
Yeah, but that's his pattern, because it's just like with the whole thing with the guns, where he made the comment about that shocked him first with the whole let's not even do due process.
Oh my God.
When it comes to guns. And then he came out with the whole like, yeah, y'all are scared of the NRA. You need to back down. You need not back down to them. You need to put different gun laws that's caused, the Democratic senator, like she's sitting there rubbing her hands, like smiling, like, yes, he said it publicly. He put it on record. Like nobody respects it because he just says shit that even if it sounds good, is dumb shit to people who are around him, because like, wait, we didn't discuss this. This isn't like, this wasn't the plan. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's why when he said that infrastructure shit during the State of the Union, I was like, there's no way you talk to your Republican friends about this.
No, and you could tell, like, even though he had like, calm face, you knew Paul Ryan was just sitting there like seething at him saying this, like, the fuck are you doing, you dumb motherfucker? This is not what was in the plans.
And they keep having to walk it back every time. And I think that's one of the scariest things. It's not just, I mean, it'd be one thing if it was just like the Republican Party has this puppet that they're, using to push their agendas. They can't control this motherfucker either, like at all. They're constantly having to go out on TV and walk back shit that he says.
Yeah.
Every week, because his mouth just fires off nonsense at, a rapid pace. And it is shocking.
Yeah.
I think that's why I said earlier, those other countries are kind of hesitant as to whether they're going to slap these tariffs or not, because it's kind of hard to tell how committed Trump really is to this. And you hear all these people saying that he was motivated to do this largely just because he's pissed off at how things are going lately. With Hope Hicks' resignation and Jared's investigations and all this shit, he just seems to be annoyed, so he lashes out. That is what I've heard about his motivation anyway.
So not a good thing.
And last quick note on that, I'm pretty sure the Dow ate shit once he said that.
Yeah, the day he said it, it dropped 400 points.
And I want him to acknowledge that, because whenever it's good, he runs his fucking mouth.
Mike said this like late afternoon, and it tanked near the end of closing. Like, what the fuck?
You know what?
Like,
I didn't check his Twitter, so maybe he did take credit for that plummet. So I'll take it back until I verify that he didn't.
I highly, and I'm not even gonna go look. I'm just gonna like call it now. He didn't take credit for anything negative. I promise you.
I had to hear how great the Dow's doing like all this fucking time, and whenever it drops, not a peep. I'm just saying. That's my last word on that.
It's all fake news. Fake news. Fake news. So something that he probably will try to claim. I don't know if he's done it yet. South Korea had a in-person meeting with Kim Jong-un, which has not happened since he's been in leadership of North Korea. He's not met personally with any top-rank official of any nation until he met with South Korea's president. I forget his name, first name, but his last name is Moon. And they had discussions to where they agreed to a summit in April between South Korea and North Korea to discuss their differences and different policies, including North Korea's nuclear weapon pursuit and the possibility of them not only backing down and not pursuing a nuclear weapon stockpile, but to also talk to the United States about disbanding their nuclear stockpile and other issues that are going on between the United States and North Korea. It's amazing what a leader who is conscious about what's going on in the world and cares about what's going on with his people and wants to do the right thing for not only just his people, but for other countries as well, and try to broker a peaceful solution by behaving diplomatically and having a talk with other people who he disagrees with and not just tweeting about them and calling them names and, you know.
Which leader are you talking about?
Moon? The South Korea president.
Oh, okay.
Moon. Okay. Yeah. I'm not talking about our leader.
First I thought you were talking about Kim, and I was like,
no, this is Moon.
That's a bit much. Like, I'm glad he's willing to come to the table, but
no, this is Moon of South Korea. He you know, because he set the olive branch already when he like expressed how he wanted not just South Korea to be represented in the Winter Olympics, not just North Korea just being represented in the Olympics, but like, hey, let's try to like start the dialogue and get things patched up by making this gesture where we go to the Olympics as the nation of Korea, not just North South, you know? And it worked. And they started discussions from there. Now we're at the point where they're about to have a summit to even further their peaceful discussions and hopefully come to, you know, some type of agreement. I mean, they've already had the discussion about family members being able to visit each other in each side of the nation and things like that. So this guy has been pretty progressive since his leadership has started in South Korea. But our leader has been pretty regressive and has put us close to the brink of war with this country. But it seems now that thanks to South Korea, we might have an inroads to some type of peaceful resolution with North Korea.
So we don't have any effect in this situation? I don't know. Is North Korea's willingness to do this part of any pressure we might have been putting on them, or?
It's apparently not, because again, the agreement didn't come. This is the thing. North Korea has said openly before, and it's funny because part of why they're going after nuclear weapons is because they've openly said, we're afraid of what's going to happen with the United States. And we don't want to be unprepared if the United States decides to come after us. That's grown increasingly since Trump has gone through and had made all his bombastic comments. And, you know, several times North Korea said, yeah, we're not going to stop until we are comfortable and not afraid of the American threat of nuclear retaliation or any other aggressive acts. They've said this constantly. Since they've been launching these missiles, which a lot of people have ignored, and probably rightfully so, because let's be honest, Kim Jong-un is not,
he's a cuckoo bird.
Yeah. He's a nut himself. So it could be just rhetoric, but the fact that he went to South Korea, he met with South Korean leadership in person and discussed all this stuff, is willing to further conversation, says a lot about what South Korea has done. Of course, I'm sure Trump is going to try to find a way to weasel his himself into the picture, because he made that threat last week, and now, coincidence. Now they want to talk. Like, no, it's not like that. But
okay, so I had asked about what our role has been in this so far, partially because I haven't been following it as closely as I should, considering the type of threat North Korea could be, but also because, as I see this possible, agreement between North and South Koreas, I tend to think, and I think you opened up with this point, that if they actually manage to pull off some sort of historic peace level agreement, and it happens during the Trump reign, I guess you could call it, he could take credit for it. And obviously, the most important thing is North and South Korea actually not murdering each other, but I felt uncomfortable by the idea that this could be one of Trump's wins. Maybe that's a little petty of me in some way, but it does give me pause to think that he could act like this and then he'll still be able to say, look at what I did, North and South Korea, perfect, hooray. Now, I'm just trying to gauge how much of a role we've actually been playing in this whole situation.
yeah, no, it's honestly been none if you actually pay attention to it. But see, it is little subtle things like Trump making the comment that, we're willing to talk. They just need to take nuclear weapons off the table. So now you have them having a discussion with South Korea, and they're saying, we'll talk to the United States about taking nuclear weapons off the table. He can wrap that around to say, see, if I didn't say that first, no one would have thought of coming at them that way. And now that South Korea did that, they listened to me and they followed my. It's like his 6th degree of separation with everything. It's just weird. It's like he can find a way to find that common thread to where it's not separate.
I guess I'll put this a different way. We talked about his bullying strategy that he takes for the rest of the world. I fear somewhat that if there's some success with this North Korea situation, people are going to think that bullying strategy works and do it, because this North Korea issue has been an issue for decades. It's not new. They've been a problem for a long time. And if Trump can say, we had all these people try to fix it, none of them fixed it, I did, and he did so with his dick strategy, that could embolden some behavior that I don't think we should be wanting to see more of. I think if this North Korea thing starts to go well, that will be probably in spite of Trump's dickish behavior, not because of it. And I don't want people to get confused about that point.
Yeah, but he's going to find as many ways to try to direct it that way as possible. We all know he's going to do that because, again, he said it, so he's going to feel like they did it because he said it. And it's that weird fucking...
Well, I'm not talking about other people. The president is a fucking psycho. I'm not going to try to convince him of a reason, but I want to make sure not too many other people...
But his fucking fan base is going to do that, because it's they don't know how not to. We just had a week-long teacher strike in West Virginia. A lot of people don't realize this, but it's been a week and a half since students have gone to school in the state of West Virginia because the teachers went on strike for.
So I'm stupid. I had heard one of the teachers talk about that today. I think they mentioned, we need to get our students back in school. And for some reason, it just clicked in my brain. Oh, duh, the students weren't in school because the teachers were there.
Yeah, and again, in any other time, this would have been a huge story. But It's something that slipped under the radar nationwide because of this fucking fool in office. But yeah, they were trying to get a 5% raise, and the state of West Virginia didn't want to give it to them. Eventually, state of West Virginia has caved now, and they got the 5% raise for teachers, which is good because teachers need more money.
Well, it's not just teachers. I think it's isn't it all government employees or something like that? It's something. It's not just teachers.
It may be, at least like the Department of Education as a whole. I'm not.
I can't remember who it extends to. I can look that up.
But yeah, they got their raise.
They got it.
Good on them.
I'm pretty sure it was the minimum they were asking for. When I heard that, I was like, I feel like they deserve more, but they got something. Yeah, I guess it's a step forward.
Yeah, you only want 5%. Okay.
Well, I don't think they only wanted it. I think that was like their minimum point was the 5% number.
Yeah.
Which I was actually kind of saddened by that they had to go on strike for a week to increase their already small pay by 5%.
Right.
And they want to increase it for shit like being able to afford healthcare and not having to depend on these government programs and shit. Like, it's not like they want to buy a mansion or something. They want to be able to afford to live.
Right. They just want to live.
I felt so sad when I was processing that thought. Like, they're fighting this hard to get enough money to essentially live, and they're teaching our kids. Yeah. We need in this country to value education in general more than we do. This is pathetic. They shouldn't have to go on strike for a week plus to get enough money to not die, I guess. I'm assuming this is the case nationwide, but here in Florida, I've definitely seen when I was growing up my teachers at their second jobs in stores and shit. And I always thought, like, why do teachers have to work a second job? They're working one of the most important jobs in this country.
I've not known a teacher either in school or personally as a friend that does not do that. Like, it's funny because I actually know a principal, and we've had discussions about how they have to struggle through the summer. It's like, wait, you're the boss of the school. You can't even survive through 3 months at your salary. You're the boss. It's ridiculous.
So again, I'm glad that they actually got this. It shows that protesting does work, despite what a lot of cynics say. They got something done, but I do think it is a cold reminder that we have a serious lack of appreciation for education in this country. The fact that they even had to do that to get what little they got. But good on them. They showed some grit and they stuck it out and they got their shit. I'm trying to put that on a positive note without skipping over how fucking annoying I find it.
No, it is because it is. It's because it shouldn't be. It's a fight that shouldn't have to be fought in this country. But it is, and going back to the career thing, we should have been like, for all the things that we try to spin positively for the United States, this should have been an easy chance for us to try to like show how diplomatic and how open we are. And this administration has done nothing to embrace. And I will say this, to be fair to them, there has been sort of a policy where you were to ignore North Korea and you were supposed to kind of try to bring the hammer down on them. But, again, Trump kind of ramped it up with his rhetoric and is talking about how we were and how we weren't, as harsh as we should be on them, and how we should do even more stuff to them and all that.
Buttons bigger.
Right. Yet South Korea comes like, look, we're going to bring an olive branch and we're going to try to talk to you guys like you're reasonable human beings, because maybe that will work. And sure enough, it's, on surface it seems to work. Again, Kim Jong-un's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, as they say. But maybe he's not as crazy as we think he is. And maybe he's being genuine in this effort.
I'm playing the wait and see game, but
yeah,
I'll try to be positive on that.
Yeah, no, and that's a good way to look at it. But I mean, at least it's good that we could actually make an acknowledgement to the fact that, hey, something positive happened.
I mean,
where to go from here?
It's definitely a step in the right direction that I would not have expected to see. Yeah, I mean, we keep mentioning it. Like, hearing that should be like, holy shit. It's not in the current news cycles, but it is interesting.
Which is so sad, because it shouldn't be that way. Instead, we're dealing with shit like, the president's son-in-law can't get security clearance yet. He's going to meet with Middle Eastern
This Kushner guy
leaders.
Is in deep shit.
He is. Deep shit. Your boy Roy Moore, everybody's favorite Republican pedophile, is in need, people. I should look and see if he actually has a GoFundMe page. This man's broke. And he's been letting everybody know that he's broke and that he needs help with his finances after running a campaign that ultimately led to his defeat. He lost to a Democrat in the state of Alabama. How bad is your life? You couldn't slam dunk that. Even with all your pedophilia and racist ways, you couldn't slam dunk that. What's wrong with you, sir? But he apparently says that he's hoping to raise $250,000 to defend himself for a defamation suit.
So he's going to build up that money so that he can
fight the score cases.
Why?
He broke. He's being sued. He's being charged with allegations.
He's being sued. But he's not being sued for defamation. He's being sued in general, and he's like countersuing.
No, he wants to I believe he wants to bring about a defamation suit.
Okay.
All the things that people have been saying about him, about his wicked child molesting ways,
is all true. So,
dude, you admitted that you would iron your wife at 14.
But even some of those other non-wife women who said that had some proof. Like when he said he didn't know that one chick and she had his signature in her yearbook and shit. Like, you're not exactly in a position to act like some of this shit wasn't true. You're lucky you're not in prison, really.
Yeah, I would go away quietly. I wouldn't even ask for money. I would if I can defend it, I would. But otherwise, I'm shutting my fucking mouth up. Because the last thing I want to do is draw more attention to what's going on. Losing might have been one of the better things for him, simply because you're no longer in a major public eye. But damn me if this guy didn't decide to put himself back.
He should have tapped out immediately, because if anything, his persistence drew more attention to him. How many people thought about Roy Moore before that election? Nobody. Not really. Not very much, at least. He pulled more eyes onto himself and his, child molesty, racisty, hyper religiousy situation there than needed to be. So are you going to donate to his, GoFundMe, or how much? $50?
Yeah, at the time of the article, it said he raised what, $32,000. So somebody's out there sending money. Good
God.
Yeah.
32,000? That better come from one fellow child molester, because come the fuck on. Seriously?
Yeah, the fact that he has any dollars is ridiculous. He shouldn't have none. But
does he have to fuck a kid in the middle of the street? Come on.
Apparently.
I'm sorry. That was a little dark. But
I know, but it's I understand what you're saying, because it's we're still supporting this motherfucker, even though improved.
32 grand, bro. Take that money and pay off somebody's student debt. Pay off my student debt. Fuck this child molesting guy.
No, we must protect our pedophiles. Okay?
Jesus Christ.
We have to protect our pedophiles.
All All right, so get out there and support your guy, Roy Moore, I guess.
Yeah, no. Or you can support a more noble cause, which is protect a sex coach, whatever the fuck that is. So, what is her name? Let us pull this up because it's the most hilarious thing I've ever heard of. So, a Russian sex coach has been in captivity in Bangkok for being a sex coach. Like, what the fuck? Okay,
that's not a real story. She was in Bangkok. Come on.
Yeah, she's in Bangkok, under charges of like, which I find weird that you're in Bangkok yet you're being held because of sexual crimes. I thought that was illegal in Bangkok, but okay, I don't know. I watched The Hangover 2, and that's probably not accurate about what goes on in Bangkok, though. But she's being held, and she wants to seek asylum by offering the United States information on the Russian investigation. She claims that she has audio, possibly video, of a contact. It's a particular gentleman who was involved in her sex coach operation. I feel very, very wrong that sex coach is being said so many times in the story, but she was a sex coach. Okay, what is your definition of sex coach? Because I don't know what the fuck I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to Google that while you were talking. I just had to know, like,
yeah, like, is that a serious thing? Like, do you need a license?
I'm assuming you coach somebody to have sex. This article's too long, but I have to know what it's.
But how do you coach somebody? Like, are you there while they're having sex, and you're like, no, you don't.
You gotta work on your endurance.
Right? You're like, what?
Keep breathing.
What are we coaching here, people? I don't know, but she claims that she has a lot of information where there's a particular guy who's connected to a lot of different people involved in the investigation, and she wants asylum. She wants the United States to cut a deal with her so she can take all this information and give it to Mueller, I guess. Who, I don't know what he's gonna do with that if he got it. Let's just get past that because that's the inconsequential stuff. The more consequential thing is, what the fuck is a sex coach? Okay, seriously, that's the whole crux of this whole matter.
It's a person who stands there in the bedroom while you're having sex and blows the whistle. Yeah.
Like, do you get reprimanded if you don't stroke right?
You get a yellow card. First offense, yeah.
The fact that she's European, that would make sense that she would have yellow and red cards like a goddamn football.
Red card. She doesn't like it. She even said she doesn't like it. Red.
Like, you really shouldn't stick it there, sir.
You have to ask before.
This just reminded me. Have you ever seen Real Sex on HBO? It's an old show. They don't do it anymore. But have you ever heard of Real Sex?
Is it like a software thing?
No.
I remember when I was younger, I saw some
Real
thing on HBO.
Okay, so Real Sex was a documentary type show that HBO did every so often, where in between acts and people on the street.
Real Sex.
Huh?
I wish I didn't Google Real Sex.
You should, because it's actually an interesting show. So in between their segments, they would ask couples questions about certain sexual acts and things like that. But the main focus of it was to explore different sexual activities that people did. They would go to strip clubs. They would go to sex toy shops. They would go to all these different places. And one particular thing they went to was a sex camp where literally couples were there sitting around each other naked, discussing sex and helping each other figure out how to bring their, like, you know, their significant others to orgasm, and it would be a group participation thing where like everybody would rub this one lady's vagina to help her and all that. It was weird. And I feel like this is what the sex coach is. It's something like that, like this camp where people just like randomly let other people touch each other to in the goal of trying to create the perfect sexual situation, and they would actually like do sexual things in front of the whole group. Like it was a very weird thing, and I feel like this is what the sex coach does. Like this is why I feel like this is something that is legit because of real sex, and I feel like that's the inspiration.
I just want to say to the listeners, don't be careful how you Google real sex. Like say real sex the show or something.
Yeah, Google real sex HBO. That will find what you want.
Be more specific than what the fuck I just did, because I just don't like what the fuck came up.
I feel compelled now in my alcoholism to do the exact same thing just so I can share your pain. So hold on.
I mean, it came up with like top stories, and I'm like, I didn't need to know that.
Oh, yeah, no. I see what you mean. Oh my God. How is that real sex immediately put the story in Australia about incest? What? Google. You're sick.
So real sex HBO or just something more precise, because apparently you can't trust Google.
Yeah, Google, you're fucking up. But no, it's crazy because they actually did a real sex segment in DC with the strip club that I actually went to. I was fascinated by it. Huh?
Are you saying you saw yourself in one of those videos and you're trying to?
No, I was not in the video at all.
So you're mad you weren't in the video?
No, I'm kind of glad I wasn't in the video because it was a club that every night, like every so often, they do burlesque night and go back to the old school stripping method. And they had this lady who would teach them how to do burlesque properly and all that. I didn't recognize a few of the strippers though that were in the segment.
I was like, oh.
I think I've gotten a lap dance from at least two of them. But yeah.
We'll figure out what a sex coach is later.
Do you believe this person has any validity to her claims?
That she's a sex. Oh, you mean
of her being a sex coach, I'm almost 100% on.
Sure.
Who makes that shit up?
Yeah. Well, sure. I guess you were asking me if I thought her job was legit, but as far as does she have any useful information, I'm doubtful. And if she did, I hope she's being kept safe, because when I first heard that story, I'm like, so some Russian operator's gonna come kill you, right? Because like
exactly,
they do that shit.
You're like, I know significant stuff. Like, okay, yeah, we're gonna poison your meal.
I was like, when's the last time somebody heard from this woman? Because she's probably dead, assuming. And if she's not dead, then they probably just don't believe she has anything useful. But she was in a picture with one of those motherfuckers, so you never know.
Yeah. Part of me hopes that she does, only because we're in such a batshit insane time where we have the president railing about a porn star he fucked, getting hundreds of $1,000s to shut up. I want this to kind of be true because it would just add to the like crazy mixed up delusional puzzle that we have politically with this administration. Like, good Lord, could you imagine if we're in a trial against Donald Trump and collusion, and whoever's the prosecutor for Mueller's team comes up and says, I would like to call the sex coach to the stand, please.
Oh, God.
Fucking amazing. Love to see that.
I just don't. There's only so much I can take. And again, I'm of the assumption that this is just her attempt to seek asylum somehow, but the fact that she's doing it tells me that at the very least she thinks it seems like a credible enough thing to try, which with this president it is, which is the sad underlying fact a lot of us are not acknowledging, is that even if it's not true, it's just believable enough to be worth paying attention to.
Just serious enough to investigate this. That's fucking ridiculous and awesome at the same time.
Depressing.
Yeah, it's very, very depressing.
I know I said this before the show. I just don't understand how we have people like this woman. We have a couple of porn stars the president probably fucked, and it's barely even news. I just can't. We still talk about that blowjob clip we got.
Some of the things we've glossed over in this podcast before we get to the big grand story is Melania Trump lying to get a visa, saying that she went to a made-up university and got a made-up degree. We've glossed over Jared Kushner, who's gotten into more detail because basically since his status has been revoked, we found out that this guy is also going to be a major part of some Middle East negotiations, even though he doesn't have the security clearance to do that, and that John Kelly is kind of warring to get him off. We have McMaster's thinking about quitting, and another high official also, I forget his name, he's thinking about quitting. We have like so much that we probably could go over and talk another 3 hours about, but we're kind of like at the point where we gotta skip major things or things that would be extremely major in any other presidency.
So the major thing you're talking about, does that have anything to do with the fact that Russia made that cute little nuke video with Florida? Because if it doesn't, then how the fuck does Russia making a video like that not even warrant mention?
He said he would fucking send nukes to America and blow it up. Yet that's not even a big news story.
It's almost bigger than Trump didn't respond to it. But
exactly. Why did and you wanted to get into that, and I just wanted to get into that as well. Why the fuck are you letting this guy? Like, Putin has pretty much done so many things to openly say, like, also the fact that another story came out too. You just reminded me that a bunch of officials said that they wrote Trump off because they figured there's no dealing with this guy, and there's no way to have a relationship with him. On top of Putin saying, fuck you, you want to test us, we got the guns, we can come at you. Putin literally said, come at me, bro. And no, unlike the commercial, it's not because this was something you were saying to a friend.
Yeah, he's just constantly daring us. The Kremlin or whatever has been fucking with our election for a couple of years now, and there seems to be absolutely no interest from this White House in doing anything about it. Even though the State Department has some fucking money to do that, they're not spending any. They're not. You hear all these law enforcement officials expressing annoyance that they're not really being told to go after this shit. Like,
yeah, if you can elaborate on the State Department thing, because you sent that to me right before we started, and I was just like, my mind was blown at that.
I hadn't gotten a chance to dig too deeply into it, but essentially it came out the other day that the State Department was given $120 million, I think, to fight Russian meddling, as they have been in our election, in our democratic processes in general, to fight their meddling. And the State Department supposedly has not spent any of it in the effort to fight that meddling. They don't seem interested at all. I've heard Tillerson just doesn't seem very motivated to deal with it. I don't know what the fuck he's busy with, but it's just not a priority for them, it seems. Which shouldn't be surprising. It's not a priority for the president.
And it's just like so bothersome. Again, this is something major that we have funding by the State Department independently to do this, and they're not doing anything about it. fucking thing is like just I don't know how, like, the fact that we're still alive is amazing to me at this point, because I feel like somebody should have been sent a rocket, like Putin said, at this point, and just like help us out by blowing everything up and starting all over again.
And, you hear all these people say there's no collusion, there's no collusion. Well, what is there? Because how else do you just explain to me how it is that there seems to be zero interest in dealing with this fucking problem that all of our intelligence agencies say is a problem, and they're still doing it, especially as we head into the 2018 elections coming up. How is it Trump never seems to say anything negative about Russia whatsoever, when he can't stop running his mouth about everybody from Korea to Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, I think he's made one comment about Russia this year, but I can't recall what it is because I guess it wasn't that big.
But I mean, you do notice that difference in behavior with the way he looks at and treats Russia. Or
yeah, no, because North Korea is a good example. He's dead set hard on going at Kim Jong-un. I mean, he's been baiting this guy since he's been in office. He's been disrespectful. He's been hostile, threatening, what have you, towards North Korea. This man just did a fucking speech where he talked shit about you, told you he would bomb you to oblivion, and did like videos of that shit. He got a media package put together to tell you, fuck you, America.
Not a word.
It's just like Silas. It's just like if it's like that. Have you ever seen Boogie Nights?
I think.
It's the porn movie about the porn stars and Dirt Digger and all that. But it's like that scene where the guy walks out into the like driveway and he sees these guys standing around in a circle watching his wife getting fucked by another guy. And it's like, yo, she's fucking the shit out your wife, and you're not saying anything. Your wife's telling you, go away. You're killing the mood. Everybody's like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Like, whatever your name is. Let her do what she's doing. And then you just skulk away, walking away without saying anything. Even though your wife's being fucked on a driveway. That is Trump when it comes to Putin. Trump could fuck Melania on a driveway in front of him, and he wouldn't say shit. It's like he's literally verbally fucking the United States on a driveway, and you're not saying shit. You're turning around and you're walking away.
So I'll definitely say I haven't watched that movie because I feel like that scene would stick out. But it was a hell of an analogy. Yeah, that is how it feels.
Thank you. Alcohol makes these analogies much better, don't you?
It was incredible. But this video that was put out, whatever, it isn't the only instance of this. He does this all the time. He never has any interest in dealing or talking about this Russia thing other than to say that there's no collusion. And yet, the biggest reason a lot of us think that there is some kind of collusion is your behavior.
Yeah.
Your absolute disinterest in dealing with this. This is something that politicians are really annoyed about, is that, what are we, like a year in, and he's not doing shit? I don't even think they are enacting those sanctions or whatever we were supposed to put on Russia that Obama had passed out. Like, I don't remember the exact details, but I do feel like I remember Obama's administration having done some shit to Russia to deal with this shit. And I think by law, Trump's administration had to actually enforce it, and they haven't been. And I don't know what the fuck's happening with that, because there's so many other stories to pay attention to. I don't know if you know more about it, but
if I can recall, he just dismissed those sanctions. He may have even gave an executive order to repeal some. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But yeah, you're right. No, I think Congress actually stepped in at one point because he had them step in and kind of repeal some of that stuff. Yeah, but no, you're totally right. There are sanctions that have been put in place that have not been enacted.
Yeah.
There have been several comments, beyond even this video that Russia has made or actions that they've taken, like with the forces in Syria and things like that, to where a stronger leader would have at least tried to open negotiations with Russia. This guy is just okay.
And
Love you, Vlad. Like,
to the people that love Trump, to the people who, say that there's no collusion, this should make you wonder at least why he does nothing. And to all those people who are, hyper patriotic, they're all America first. Is he putting America first at all with this situation? How does that not bother you? The way he, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't want to say protects Russia or loves Russia. I don't know I don't understand his mindset toward Russia, which is kind of the problem. I don't understand why he's like this when it comes to Russia.
Yeah, it's weird. And again, when you're getting investigated for possible collusion, this don't look good.
I mean, the fact that you're always yelling, "There's no collusion," already looks kind of suspicious, but the rest of your behavior is also extremely suspicious.
Yeah, I agree.
But I definitely want to bring that up because I feel like week after week, I'm like, hey, we're still not doing shit about Russia, and we have elections coming up, and we know that they're fucking with us.
That's very true. What if they start getting into these, like, the Texas primaries coming up? What if they fuck with that? You have the midterm elections. What if they fuck with those? And yeah, all you could do is blame Obama for it.
Fucking with our democracy should bother any American, especially the president. But I guess we're just gonna do nothing and keep letting them cyber attack us. I mean,
it's asinine. It's truly ass-a-fucking-nine. Damn this dude.
That's really America first right there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
What's up?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say I don't know if this is some calculated thing. So maybe he just assumes that if Russia keeps fucking with the election stuff, it will be in his favor. So maybe if there is no collusion, he still doesn't care because it's probably going to work out for him if they keep fucking with our election. That's not a very positive interpretation, but it's an alternative one, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of interpretations, notice how I was able to switch my transition, my segue into the subjects. Let's talk about Sam Nunberg's interpretation of his rights and what he can do as far as the law, and how apparently this man feels like he can put his middle finger up to Batman and not get it broken. So this is the biggest story, and it's fun. Again, all these things that we talked about, these are huge things. Somehow this creeped into the top position as the biggest story that we've heard. So mind you, it's just been a week since the last episode.
This thing happened like just last night, I think.
Just last night. This, like, in the aftermath of the Oscars and people talking about like the greatness of The Shape of Water and Get Out getting best screenplay, and the political messages that were dropped during the Oscars. Which, by the way, why did Trump tweet today that this was the lowest rated Oscars, and he was like how sad it was? But I love Jimmy Kimmel's clapback. It's like, thanks for hearing from the lowest rated president in history. Like, this dude is a fucking child. God damn it. But even that didn't beat out Sam Nunberg, because Sam Nunberg is a goddamn like legend right now. Holy fucking shit. Please explain to the people what this man did and why he's sort of the anti-hero of the world.
Is he?
He is, because he's like a hero, but he's not in a way. He's at least to me. I don't know why.
I feel like we just watched a crazy man dominate the news cycle, which we should be used to because we have Trump. But it was refreshing to have a different crazy person, I guess. So we have this former Trump campaign aide, Sam Nunberg, who got subpoenaed by the Mueller investigation. Got a subpoena, and they were asking for shit like his emails leading back to November 1st, 2015 or some shit like that. Essentially, around the time of the campaign stuff, because they wanted to investigate that shit. And this guy has a full-on meltdown because he feels like he shouldn't have to spend 80 hours or whatever random numbers he kept throwing out there. He shouldn't have to spend all this time going through his emails, giving them to, Mueller and them. He should have to spend all this money and time. And he just went on this tirade of bitchy whining for like hours, like jumping on different interviews, like with Jake Tapper on CNN, Katie something on MSNBC. I mean, I saw this dude's face all over the place. Somehow he just made the news cycle rounds the whole time saying, I shouldn't have to do this. He's mad because he thinks they're building up a case against Roger Stone, I think it is.
Yeah, he thinks they're doing a case against this boy, Stone, who's very close with.
Yes, Stone is like his daddy or whatever the fuck he said.
Okay, so let's
was already kind of with us.
This is the reference. I don't know if I sent you this article because I was reading this whole thing where CNN did a whole write-up on the 42 craziest things that Sam Nunberg said. The 42 craziest quotes from his interviews, which were fucking ridiculous. You start off with number one. Do you think I would ever talk to that moron? Which he's referring to Carter Page, a former Trump staffer.
Who he hates.
Yes, who he references a million times as a fucking moron and a fucking idiot and whatever. Like, he seriously has what the fuck did Carter Page do to him? Did he fuck his mom or something? Like, Jesus. Then he also tells Jake Tapper he'll send him the full subpoena. Again, who offers to send the subpoena to the press?
First of all, I'm just wondering how legal that is in general. I'm just curious about that.
Exactly. Is that stuff that you can send out? Although I think he's trying to sell it, and can you sell that? What's the legal ramifications of that? Is that contempt or anything? I don't know what. Number three, I've been warned not to go after Mueller. I've been warned that you're wrong, that he'll take you down. Okay. Duh. Ask Paul Manafort about that. Okay. He knows what it is when you try to come at come at Batman. Don't be stupid. Number four, I suspect that they suspect something about Trump. First of all, alliteration. Second of all, duh. What do you think this is all about? 5, Trump may very well have nothing to do with it. Okay, so first you think they suspect him of something, but he has nothing to do with it. You don't think he has nothing to do with it. Sir, which one is it? 6, irregardless of whether or not he had money coming to him during the election, okay? During the general, he won the election and he doesn't get credit for it. Is that a compliment?
I couldn't quite parse it when he said it.
And it's funny because I love CNN's response on the article because their response is, irregardless of your husband being shot, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Oh my god. It's sad to see like you getting this kind of, oh my god, it's beautiful. Number 7, they think that Roger Stone colluded with Julian Assange. If you don't know who Julian Assange is, he's the guy who started WikiLeaks and all of that. I can tell you Roger did not collude with Julian Assange. Okay. I don't know where that came from.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, exactly. Number 8, I was fired, correct? Okay. Yeah, we know you were fired. I'll get it. Again, this dude, like, his mind just went all over the place. Number 9, I came up with the wall. I came up with the Muslim ban. I came up with everything to attack Jeb Bush, all that stuff. So he's taking credit for some of the worst policies of the Trump administration. Sir, how does that help your standing?
Jeb Bush, but
huh?
didn't need to attack Jeb Bush, but yeah.
But how does that? What does that help you in this whole situation, and why is that a thing?
I would definitely say you guys should go and listen to a couple of these interviews because I'm not gonna lie, I listened to one in full. I think it was the one he did with Jake Tapper, and then he did another one with somebody, and I could not make it through it. I got mentally beaten down by what the fuck I was hearing out of this guy's mouth.
Yeah, the one with Jake Tapper was like horrible, but the one when he came back with I forget her name, that was just like, I felt like that was the biggest plea for help. Like, I'm not gonna read through all these 42, but basically from what I've read so far, that's the pattern of the interview. He like went on to say like he thinks Robert Mueller thinks that Trump is a Manchurian candidate. Basically saying that he's somebody who was planted and like brainwashed to do the things he was doing. If you've never seen the movie Manchurian Candidate, that's basically what it was about. It was about foreign, I forget if it was Russia or whatever country they did. Basically, we're taking U.S. Officials, agents, or what have you. I forget the role that dude played. And they brainwashed them and planted them in the government as like a sleeper cell where they would be activated to do like fucked up things unbeknownst to themselves because they have been basically like engineered and trained and brainwashed to do these fucked up things and all that. Basically think that Mueller thinks Trump is a Manchurian candidate, which, yeah.
Do you see one that malfunctioned? Because I was gonna say,
yeah, because he clearly is not on script with what they had planned. This man is not on script at all to his programming.
Yeah, but some of those quotes were fucking gold.
Yeah.
My favorite was, "I'm not cooperating. Arrest me."
Yeah, so let's go with it. Like the ultimate come at me, bro thing. Why? Why would you even provoke someone who sent a subpoena already to drag you into jail? Like, first of all, you can't make that claim. If I send you a subpoena and you refuse it, you have put yourself in a position where, yeah, I have to arrest you because you're pretty much violating a court order. So what are you telling me? Well, how, like...
I didn't understand his... Because he said that type of shit near the end of the interview, even during the beginning, where it's like, why do I have to do all this? Bitch, because you got a subpoena. What are you talking about? Why should you have to do all of this? What?
Yeah, if I don't show up for a legitimate court order, I can be arrested because I am violating that court order. And I'm telling the court, fuck you. I don't care what you have on me.
He acts like this was a request. And I will grant him that going through all those emails is probably a pain in the ass, but it's a subpoena, it's not like some guy was just like, hey man, can I see all your emails? No, why should I have to do all that? What? You do not seem to understand the position you are in and your relationship to this investigation. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're not asking you to pass the P's.
But and even then, I'd be kind of nice about the whole, him having to spend all this time going through those emails. Sorry, like stop being such a fucking crybaby. Sometimes you gotta do some shit you don't want to do. It's gonna take 80 hours shit was kind of.
Yeah, when he said he already been 80 hours, first of all, that should be a red flag to Trump and them, because clearly this guy's already cooperated with. He basically told the world, yeah, I've talked to Mueller already. So clearly he said something. And perhaps he's trying to hide the fact that he said something. I really didn't understand what was his pattern or like his path to. Was he trying to vindicate himself? Like I said to you last night, I felt like this was a guy who was defending himself. This was a guy who was kind of, resigned to the idea that, I'm going to get fucked. Actually, no, screw that. I'm already fucked. I just need somebody to convince me that either A, I'm not fucked, or B, I'm not going to get so fucked as I think I am going to be. Because he was just all over talking about Trump's an idiot. Fuck Carter Page. I hate him. I can't stand him. Arrest me.
Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah,
Corey Lewandowski's a scumbag.
Yeah, he went on about that.
One of those quotes. But it was number 11. I just came around having to spend 80 hours over the weekend. I started this Gloria on Saturday. I don't know if you guys know math.
Yeah, because CNN was right to point it out, but go ahead.
Well, there's not 80 hours in a weekend. CNN put up, they said the weekend lasts 72 hours. That's if you're counting Friday, I guess. Like, he said he started on Saturday. So really, he only had 48 hours available.
Perhaps he came in on President's Weekend. Therefore, that Sunday would be, Monday would consider
fair enough.
A weekend.
I guess
I'm trying to help him out.
I'm not even gonna check to see what President's Weekend was. I'm just gonna let it rock because I had to spend 80 hours. It's just bad math. No, you didn't. Even if you didn't sleep the entire weekend, you didn't spend 80 hours. What
you can only max out at most 72, counting Fridays.
And even if you had done 72, like, come on, dog. You didn't sleep for 3 days.
Yeah, it's not like Mueller was just like knocking on your door at 3 a.m. Oh, you find email 176 yet? Like, no. Let's be honest.
He was holding a gun to your head this whole
time. Exactly. It made no sense.
What is this guy's fucking problem?
It's just like the stuff.
But again, I really think people should go and listen to him talk. Just how whiny he sounds.
Right, like he constantly called Trump an idiot. Yet, like 16, I was told that idiot had offered to send women up to Trump's room, but Trump didn't want it. He's too smart for that. Wait, you keep saying Trump's an idiot, but he's too smart to take like pussy, which we know he's not because he just paid off a porn star not too long ago because he took pussy.
He repeats himself a lot. Number 25 on that list was, I am not a fan of Donald Trump. And the response is, yes, you made that abundantly clear. I'm like, yes, thank you. Like, he said it 50 fucking times. And every time he said it, I'm like, bitch, I heard you the first time. You don't like Trump anymore. because
why you keep saying you're not a fan of a man that you worked for, that you took checks for, that you helped, that you claim you made his biggest ideas for his campaign. You just took credit for giving this guy the wall and all that other shit, but you don't like him.
Well, it's clear.
I'm sorry. If I don't like you, I'm not helping you get shit.
His claim was that Trump fucked him over and stuff, but just the amount of times he felt the need to say, I don't like Trump. Like, I remember at one point he was like, I can't remember what her name was, like, but do you know I don't like Trump? And I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure if she was listening at all, she heard you say it the first few times. This guy's...
Another weird thing, he says fuck you to Rob Mueller, but he also, number 36, says Rob Mueller is a professional person. Rob Mueller is an honorable man. So you're going to just throw the middle finger up to him, but then you're going to try to give him a compliment?
But I mean, that's the thing, because before all of this, I do remember it was a few days ago, he did some other interview. He did some other interviews about being interviewed and stuff by the Mueller investigation, and he had pretty much nothing but nice things to say about it. So it's not like he just randomly said this just now. He had been saying that for at least a few days. And even his complaints about it now, they're not complaints that the people are unprofessional. They're just complaints that he shouldn't have to do all of this shit. And, you know, he's loyal to Roger Stone and he's not going to help them build a case against him or whatever, which is another weird point, by the way. I feel like there's some weird legal shit going in there that you shouldn't be. I mean, I'm loyal to Roger Stone, so I'm not going to help you build this case. It's not really saying that Roger Stone is innocent in any way.
Yeah, it's just saying that I'm willing to obstruct justice, which, by the way, you keep saying Mueller should come arrest you. Guess what? You're giving him a fucking case against you because you refuse to help with the federal investigation. That's obstruction, sir. You just gave him the in to fucking arrest you.
I don't know if it's one of the quotes here, but I remember him saying something like he think it would be hilarious if they tried to arrest him over this. I'm like, I don't know why you feel like this isn't possible or something, or why you're running your mouth like they can't arrest you for this.
Yeah, no, you basically gave them all the ammo they need to arrest you. You told them, if you come at me and try to get information, I'm not going to give it to you. Therefore, I'm going to obstruct justice.
They should have sent somebody to one of those studios and arrested him on TV.
It would have been fucking glorious if that happened, because I don't know if he was, especially if he was in the CNN office here in DC. They literally would only have to drive like 5 fucking blocks from the CNN studio in DC from the FBI or whatever federal agent in the surrounding area, and fucking put that guy in handcuffs.
I mean, I'm only half kidding too. Like, one, he was saying he's not gonna fucking do it, first of all, but two, he was saying he's gonna release the subpoena shit, you know, to the press and all this wild shit he was saying. They should have arrested him on the spot.
Yeah, no, he spent the whole day going on these interviews. One of these interviews, somebody should have just shown up on set and just like, come on, let's just go.
And did you say that he agreed to do it, to give them these emails and shit, or I don't know if there was a resolution if he finally decided that this is a stupid idea.
It's funny because he never said he disagreed to do that and stuff like. It's like I said last night. He's like that little kid who doesn't want to go to that aunt he hates house, so he just sits and gripes and complains, knowing that he's gonna have to go anyway. So why the fuck are you complaining? Just do it.
He sounded like such a whiny fucking brat. It was just impossible to have any sympathy toward this guy. Because again, I do acknowledge that it would be a bit of an annoyance to dig through your emails for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But
that's a lot of information.
Yeah, it is an annoyance, and I would have some sympathy for you if you just said, well, this sucks, but I gotta do it. But I can't have any sympathy for you when you act like a whiny little bitch. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no. And it's funny because I'm looking at this comment number 38. I believe Carter Page was colluding with the Russians. Again, this is like the gajillion time he mentioned Carter Page in the interview. And I love seeing this quote. In some ways, a lot of ways, Sam Nunberg and Carter Page are made for each other, like Batman and Robin, or that weird movie where Superman and Batman fought.
Who wrote this fucking article? This is childish.
Yeah, I don't know, but this guy is hilarious. It was of course it would be him, Chris Silza. Chris Silza writes some great articles. Oh my god,
that's fucking childish. That shit.
I mean, you have to kind of have fun with this because the surrealness of it all.
Yeah,
because look at this man's face as he has this mental breakdown. And by the way, it's mentioned that the young woman who he had the interview with, she claims that she could have swore she smelled alcohol in his breath. So he may have been drunk as shit, like I am, doing this.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so, just to help explain what his fucking problem was last night. Because, I mean, I've watched him in other interviews, and he's generally like this. But
I mean, they've denied it, but shit, I wouldn't deny it. I've been like, yeah, I was drunk. Don't pay attention to me.
Yeah,
in fact, it is his best defense should be, I was fucked up and not in my right mind.
Say, I was stressed that I had a drink. I don't know. Humanize yourself instead of acting like more of a psycho. So, number 42, Jake, I'm definitely the first person to ever do this, right? He said that shit a bunch of times. And I'm thinking the whole time, like when I'm watching this interview and he says that shit over and over, I think I'm the first person to ever do this. I'm the first person to ever do this, right? Every time he said it, I'm thinking, maybe that's an indicator that this is stupid. The fact that nobody else does this. Did you ever stop to think that there's a reason you might be the first person to do this?
Right. Like everybody else is a little too smart. It's just like, take Bannon. Bannon was called in. He kind of refused, and then they subpoenaed him. He went in, he talked, he did what they needed to do. He made whatever deal he needed to do, kept it quiet, went about his business. He didn't make a big uproar. He didn't throw a stink. He didn't try to draw attention to this. For like all the pain it gives me, you could praise Bannon for that because he did it right. They asked him, he said no. They subpoenaed him. He was like, okay, fine. We'll do this. We'll set up this up. He didn't fucking bitch and moan and throw a fit, a shit fit like this dude. He just went with it because he knows it's better to just go with it and work, quietly to find a way to get out of this shit than to do this because this guy, he fucked himself on TV. He literally fucked himself.
And he didn't have to. I mean, there was no purpose to doing all this. Either you're going to give them what the fuck they want, or you're going to prison. I mean,
yeah.
There was no win situation for you in this. So I don't know why you went through all of this trouble.
Right. And number 40, that's the thing that fucking made it all fall apart for me. Do you think I should cooperate? He asked fucking Jake Tapper, after going on this rant about they could just have to arrest me. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm done with this. 80 hours, blah, blah, blah. He asked Jake Tapper, should I cooperate? And Jake Tapper's like, if I were you, yeah. You fucking moron. I mean, he didn't say it that way, but if I was Jake Tapper, I would have at that point want to go, you fucking moron. Of course I would do it. I wouldn't even have done this. Had I known that you were going to do this on this interview, I wouldn't have even done this interview, knowing that I would say something as stupid and asinine as I've been saying for the last 20 minutes to me. Like, are you fucking kidding? Go talk, do it, and get it over with.
I don't see it as one of the quotes. I'm starting to wonder if I imagined this question, but I feel like during that interview, Nunberg asked him, would you expect a Democrat to do this shit? I'm going to rewatch that interview just to make sure I'm not crazy. But
I think he did say something, made some mention of Democrats doing that. No Democrat would do that.
And Jake Tapper, to his credit, is like, yes, I would expect a Democrat, to submit to the subpoena and shit. Like, he's asking these weird rhetorical questions, expecting answers only somebody like him would possibly give. I mean,
yeah, like if you're a Democrat, that makes it different. A subpoena is a subpoena. I don't care if you're a Democrat, a libertarian, a fucking socialist, communist, fucking like, you know, I don't care if you're like a barbarianist, if there is such a thing. It's a subpoena. What the fuck are you gonna do? It's a subpoena.
And I think I made this point to you when we were talking earlier. I was like, if you care about justice in America and shit, you ought to want to do this. I mean, again, I can see having to actually do it being kind of annoying, and you know, there's concerns of privacy and shit like that. I'm not unsympathetic to the points that might actually make some kind of sense, but do you care about the country? And I know he had said, you know, there's no collusion between Trump and Russia because Trump is too stupid and Russia wouldn't trust him. But, you know, to the point I made earlier, that's not your fucking call, first of all. You're not one of these law enforcement officers. Stop saying that shit like, you know, this is stupid. This is a witch hunt. There's no collusion here. Not your call. This is not your job. Shut the fuck up. Submit to this fucking subpoena and stop being an asshole. That's one. Two, collusion is not the only problem here. Potential problem here. There's also obstruction of justice. Kind of what you're doing. So I would think you're a little familiar with this. This classic Trumpian response, ironically, anytime anything about this investigation comes up, there's no collusion. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, and to your point about like sympathy or empathy for this guy, I have none, simply because like people do things that they don't want to do all the time that are less serious but have impact. Like, I don't want to fucking go to work every day. I don't want to work the schedule I'm working right now, but I want to pay my bills. I want to keep my apartment. I want to be able to like buy stuff and do things that I want to do. So I'm gonna go to fucking work, dude. All you have to do is go answer some questions. Answer questions that could possibly keep you from going to prison. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah. That's, you know, I was mentioning the sympathy thing. Like, I personally, maybe it's because I don't use email that much. But like, when he was complaining about this, I'm like, yeah, but they're just emails, dude. Like, you can, as a matter of fact, you should be able to just search your email for, you know, particular users and shit. So I don't feel like you have to go through one by one unless you're trying to hide certain ones or something. But
yeah,
the process of gathering those emails shouldn't be that hard.
No. All you gotta do is say yes. You can come look at my computer and take what you need, and let them do it. He doesn't even have to do it. That's the funny fucking thing. It's like he doesn't have to do it. The investigators have to scour through this shit. They don't need him to actually go through the individual thing. Let whatever experts on Mueller's team be like, fine, you guys want my laptop? Here, take this. Go ahead. Have a blast. Like, he's complicating his situation way too much.
I mean, yeah, he's making himself look stupid. And I say again, I don't want to hear this shit about there's no collusion, especially when the excuse is Trump is too dumb. I get it. You don't like Trump. But again, you are not Mueller or whoever else in our intelligence or law enforcement agencies. It really doesn't matter what the fuck you think about it. We leave it up to, you know, our legal systems to make these determinations, not random citizens. So shut the fuck up. It's not your call to make anyway. They have to go through, do the investigation, and they will decide whether they think there was a collusion or not. I don't know why he keeps saying this shit. There was no collusion. This is stupid. You're entitled to your right to think that, but it's not really important, is it?
No, not.
They have to make their call, not yours. So,
yeah. Speaking of the collusion thing, another comment of his that stood out to me was how he went after Sarah Sanders Huckabee. It was like, if she wants to go after him, he's fine. He'll go after her too. I want to see that. I want to see that fight. I need them to both in the room arguing with each other. Please, somebody make that happen. Get them together and have them go at it. I want to see that shit. Should be hilarious.
What the? Can you explain what the fuck she did? Because he said she attacked him or something. I didn't know what he was referring to, or at least I didn't remember. But like,
I don't know exactly what she did. Maybe she made a comment about like you shouldn't believe him or something. Like, because I don't know what she did. I feel like again, this probably leans to the whole he might have been drunk thing. I feel like some of the things that he was saying was him kind of like doing like a preempted attack.
mm.
Make sure like he was kind of setting up, he's setting it up so when somebody actually does come at him, he's already like grounded himself. Because I don't recall her ever making any significant comments about him.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to be implying that she already had, but either way, like, it was so creepy the way he was going at her. I'm sure that if I was to like do a find in this page, there's at least one quote here. Like, yeah, I think she's terrible, by the way. I mean, how do you have it's funny it's the funniest thing to me that Trump likes her. I'm like, what is this guy's problem? If you listen to that interview, he's just
she wasn't even around you when you were on his staff. You had no contact with her. So what the fuck is it?
I'm curious about what the fuck she said to piss him off like that, because he just kept going in. If she wants to attack me, I'm going to attack her back. And I just like rolled my eyes when I was watching that. I'm just thinking, do you feel like a big man right now? You're threatening this fucking lady who, whatever she said, it clearly wasn't that important because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right.
I can believe she might say some shit. She talks wild all the time, but it wasn't significant enough to be noticed. So,
like, you put her in a defensible position. Someone who is unlikable as Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You put her in a defensible position because it's like, why are you coming at her? Like,
and he kept acting all big about it too. If she wants to blah blah blah, I'm gonna do this. I can attack her back. You're an adult. What are you talking about attacking somebody back? Why are you saying that with such pride? I can attack back. Shut the fuck up. You're a grown man. What's wrong with you?
Right. Like, at least let her attack first before you say something.
I don't. That was the thing that stuck out to me the most when he was saying that shit. I'm like, what is this guy's? You see this? I mean, I don't mean to drag gender into it, but I was like, does he just feel like a big fucking man, like trying to bully this fucking lady? Who, granted, I really don't fucking like, but like, he's just being a dick about this. And again, maybe she said something heinous. I don't know what the fuck she said that got him onto this.
Yeah, I don't know what she did, but she clearly touched the nerve in some way with this guy. It's like everybody's like, Carter Page, what did he really do to make you hate him? Because you never were clear on what it was, except for he's an idiot. 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 Lewandowski, I don't recall you being specific on where your R for him is. Trump, okay, I kind of understand you calling him an idiot because he fired you. But everybody else, you just kept like dogging the fuck out of him, with the exception of Stone, who was your boy.
Father figure.
Yeah, it must clearly. Like it was amazing. It was amazing. I kind of want him to go on an interview tour now, just to see how fucking batshit he could get.
I really want somebody to dig into his comments about Stone, because this whole I'm loyal to Stone, I'm not going to support this. First of all, I don't even know that it's verified that they are building a case against Stone. But I mean, he's saying that like it's like he read it in the Bible or some shit, like it's the truth. I don't know that we've heard that there is any particular thing against Stone at this point. He seems to just be inferring that from his time interviewing in there, I guess, whatever questions they asked him. But either way, I'm glad you're loyal to your daddy over there. But
I think that's the most telling thing. And somebody on CNN that they interviewed made that point too. It's like, out of all of this, you can take the idea that this is probably the most information that we've gotten out of the Mueller investigation because of this man, because it's been so tight-lipped, like so devoid of leaks. When things happen, they just boom, hit you where you're unaware. And it's like you look at this interview and like you were saying the whole thing about Stone. No one knew or no one had any real reason to think that Stone was a key figure, yet this guy out of nowhere with his interview, he makes you wonder, is Stone, like, what is it with Stone? They must have something really big on Stone because he keeps defending this man wholeheartedly. I was like, we knew they had some stuff on Carter Page, but the way he keeps going at Carter Page, he's just like so dead set on painting this negative picture on this guy. It's like, how big is his role in this? Is it bigger than what we know now? Like, he's actually kind of, in a way, fucked Mueller without trying to fuck Mueller, because he's exposed a lot of things and brought to like light a lot of questions that we have on this investigation that, like, until Batman's ready to like jump out of the shadows, we have no idea what's going on.
Which, by the way, I don't know how much you're allowed to talk about your little interviews and stuff. I'm assuming hopefully he didn't break any rules or anything, but I would think that there should be some kind of punishment for the way he was running wild talking about that shit. Like,
yeah,
you know, this is a secret investigation thing that's being run by our top law officials and shit. Maybe you should shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because they didn't put him on blast. Like, honestly, until he came out, I can't recall any like article that came out was like Mueller interviewed Nunberg, or Nunberg was claimed to say that. Like, do you?
No, I don't recall any, and I assume / hope that his future interviews with these people will be a lot less friendly because, again, I don't know that he revealed too much or anything, but you're hurting their investigation by your inability to shut the fuck up, which you shouldn't do, again, if you care about justice / America. But I guess that's just my crazy thought that justice matters to the country, whatever. How often?
Yeah, no, he has. I'm sure he has no clue what he's done at all.
I mean, you got to give it up to me. He got some serious balls, bro. I mean,
oh yeah, clearly. Although if it was because he's drunk, then clearly he doesn't have any balls. But either way, he has done. He's done some pretty amazing things in that one night. And I think we're going to be talking about this for weeks because I feel like this interview is going to like kind of up the ante and push the envelope on things because a lot of people are probably going to break. Trump's that close to breaking now off of this. I can't imagine that he's not. This is going to be wild. This is going to be fucking wild.
I hope he's not interviewed too much more because I just can't listen to this dude talk. He sounds so stupid. And he repeats himself endlessly, and he brings up dumb points. I think I even mentioned to you earlier. He seems like the exact kind of guy I would have expected to see on the Trump team. Somebody who sounds stupid and makes stupid decisions, like the rest of them. So he's exactly the type of motherfucker I would expect to see there. So, and I'm sick of hearing from him and his dumb voice.
Yeah.
Not trying to be a dick, but he talked for a long. He was on several interviews last night. He talked a
spent
lot.
The whole day on TV.
Yeah. So you're catching me after I've heard a lot of his voice. Is essentially why I'm feeling a little bitter about it.
But no, like I said, he's on TV all day, and it's like me sending you those articles. You had to hear the clips, all that shit. It's like, yo, yeah, I'd be sick of that dude too.
And out of nowhere, he just dominated the news cycle. Bang. Mostly because he said stupid, crazy shit, and he's gonna have his legs broken by Batman. What is the... Bro, you see this guy's track record. He's not been fucking around. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He's the one. This man is trying to arrest half the country. What are you doing?
He's not just half the country. He's arresting other countries. What are you, what are you doing?
Bro, he's handing out indictments like they're free samples, bro. You think he won't get you?
Right.
You think he I just don't understand what this guy's thought process was, other than he must have been under the influence. Because holy shit. And I'm sure, I don't know what Trump is feeling watching all this. I just wonder what the president's mental state is with all this shit going around him, because any other person would be driven mad by all of this. We didn't even talk about Kushner, because
yeah, I'm sure Kushner's happy because this guy just gave him a reprieve.
I mean, he's been getting shit left and right. I don't know when it came up, but this idea that the fact that one of his businesses failed to nail a deal in Qatar might have influenced some policy shit. Now that's being looked into. Which
right,
is
and there's also like illegal loans or possible like coercion of loans and money that he may have got because of.
I know we're talking about Trump a lot, but this Kushner guy, like he's really in some deep shit right now. Like nothing you hear about this guy sounds good at all.
Yeah.
The
speculation that he may be fired soon. Him and his wife.
He should be in prison. Fuck this fired shit. Like,
yeah.
Every time you hear about this guy, he has his hands, or at least his businesses do, he has his hands in like too many cookie jars all over the fucking place with foreign governments. These insane conflicts of interest because he's never fully divested himself for those fucking companies. So it's like this White House is out of control. On a lighter note, I didn't verify this, but I did see right before we started, it said like Trump had his 100th day at like a golf club or something as president, which
I heard that
apparently is like a fourth of his days as president. So
yeah, I remember all Obama did was spend time playing golf, y'all.
I just wanted to congratulate the president on that. I don't know if it's a record of some kind.
It's only a good thing if his game has improved. If it hasn't improved, then it's all for nothing.
I just wonder how much more damage he could be doing if he wasn't spending a quarter of his time. Quarter of his days, I should say, at a golf club. I don't know if it's literally a quarter of his time, but
yeah.
I just wanted to bring out that happy note before we close off or say whatever else you want to fucking say.
Yeah, I guess I could give another happy note. Black Panther is now closing in on $1 billion. Mind you, it still hasn't come out in Japan or China yet.
God damn.
It's almost at $1 billion, so that's great. And Detroit Become Human, exclusive for the PlayStation 4, has a release date now. It will be coming on May 25th.
This year?
Yes, May 25th. It's the release date.
Good shit. If you have another positive note, hold it for a second.
Okay.
Just real quick, I just want to throw out there that China is going to repeal their fucking presidential term limits. And that's kind of scary.
Really?
So, haven't they been talking about that? They've been talking about...
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's sad that you could forget about it.
And then, yeah, because Trump actually... It's funny. He doesn't tweet about a world leader fucking basically telling the United States we're going to send missiles up your ass if you fuck with us. But he tweets about how like he likes the idea of a president not having terms anymore.
I had that on my list to just breeze over real quick because I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it was certainly worth noting.
Yeah, it is.
The idea that China's President Xi Jinping might be in for a life after they do this.
No, he's like, I'm fucking Stalin. Leave me alone. I'll leave when I'm dead.
You know, boys and girls, it's not good when democracy died. And not that China was that much of a democracy before. Like, presidential term limits is probably the most democratic-ish thing that they had. They're communists, generally speaking. Like, so I don't mean to suggest that they were this bastion of democracy that suddenly fell as they removed this term limit. And I don't even know if it's been actually removed yet. I know that it was being talked about, at least seriously. But world news, weird. And our president's reaction to it was also kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I wanted to throw that out there real quick and then jump back to, all right, Become Human has a release date. So that's one more thing to add to my binge pile.
Yeah, and it's funny because speculation is people are trying to say like there's another game that may come out. They may push Spider-Man to June. If they do that, that would be 4 major exclusives released on PlayStation 4 in 4 consecutive months. Because you have the show, MLB The Show coming out sometime this month. I forget when. Actually, I need to check now because I was supposed to pre-order that. Glad I said that. Then you have God of War next month. Now you have Detroit Become Human in May.
So I've got plenty to keep me busy.
So hurry up and beat Horizon so you can play these games.
I beat Horizon.
Oh, you did? Cool. What do you think?
I think it took a lot of sleep for me to pull that off because it occurred to like I was thinking I'm gonna be a responsible adult to play some of this every day after work, and I was like, I have some shit to do, and I feel like I can't focus on any of it until I beat this fucking game. So what happened was over the weekend I just didn't sleep and I binged for like 2 days. Played a shit ton of side missions. I think I might have skipped like 1 or 2 that didn't interest me, but I think I got a good amount of those side missions.
Nice.
And part of me is thinking I might go back and finish them, but yeah, I did finish it. I feel like the main story is a little shorter than I would expect. I think because like the world is big and you have all this other side shit you can do that makes up for it. But it did strike me as a bit odd because I remember thinking like if I just played the main story, I probably could finish this somewhat quickly.
Yeah, I believe they said the main story alone would be maybe 50. No, they said it was 30 hours for the main story.
Maybe this felt quick to me, but well, maybe you couldn't because maybe you needed to like gear up to be able to handle the story. So who knows?
Yeah, you probably need to level up enough to get past some of the things.
But I like the story. I love the world a shit ton. I don't know. I just dig it a lot. I don't want to jump into too many details because I don't know how many people have actually played through, and I wouldn't spoil shit. But
I guess we're still within a period where you can't spoil it. It's not old enough. It's only it just recently celebrated its year anniversary, so I guess you can't spoil it. But now you get to prepare yourself to learn parenting lessons from the world's biggest brat in the world, Kratos. Who had daddy issues and
he's grown up, man.
Most violent ways. Now all of a sudden, now he's raising a child, trying to teach them how not to be him.
Look, he's older. We all get wiser, except Trump, I guess.
Yeah, like spoiler alert for like game that's about 4 or 5 years old, but I'm sure he's going to teach his son not to stab his fucking father and murder him with his own sword.
What a convenient lesson.
Like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be so mad at your daddy that you kill him.
I'm hyped for it. There's a lot of shit to be hyped for, man. Like you said, there's some big hitters coming out in the next few months. So I have plenty of shit to do.
E3 is in a couple of months. I gotta get ready for that. It's gonna be so awesome. Oh God, I'm gonna get back to my video game podcast. Prod, hit me up now. God damn it. You awesome. Start this. But guess that's it. That's all the shenanigans we're gonna talk about this evening. Because I have a piece of like fish that I'm dying to grill and eat. Mahi, awesome.
I'm just looking at a list of shit we did not talk about.
Dude, I can't. I just can't. It's like, whoa. Because we still got fucking Ben Carson saying that he's going to get the money back or some dumb shit. I found out like right before the podcast that Kelly Conway is being charged with violating a couple of precedents by endorsing candidates or going against candidates.
Yes, which apparently is illegal, and she did it multiple times.
So you have that. It's just a lot of fun shenanigans that goes on. Again, I need somebody to write the treatment for the sitcom so we can have a 3-year sitcom this presidency.
Just real quick, let me see if there's anything cool breaking. If I go to the new shit on Google, Gary Cohn said he will resign as Trump's top economic advisor.
Oh shit! What? He loses somebody else? Oh shit! There's something else. Stormy Daniels is suing Trump now. What the fuck? Another breaking news: Trump administration to sue California over immigration. What? What is this? No.
So all three of those broke during the podcast.
What the fuck? Oh man.
In case anybody thought I was exaggerating when I say shit happened so much in this White House that shit will break during the podcast, I'm not kidding.
It is so fucking
Those are the top stories right now as the podcast happened. Like this Cohn shit happened.
Is this breaking man of mystery cooperating with Mueller and Russian probe? A Middle East specialist with ties to Donald Trump's team attended secret meetings during the presidential transition between the United Arab Emirates and Trump Association and is now cooperating with special counsel Robert Mueller. Two people familiar with the matter say, "What is going on?" What is going on, people?
And that right there is why we can't talk about everything.
Yeah, because it's so too much shit.
You can't even trust the news to slow down while you do the podcast, bro. It's not even like this is the middle of the day. It's night right now.
This is it's almost 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this shit is happening. Like, shouldn't y'all at least rest a little bit? Wow. I'm gonna I'm just gonna go ahead and do the outro again. Thank you to everybody who watches and listens to this podcast. We appreciate you guys tremendously. Again, we're building up the database on Podbean, so if you want to see previous episodes, I would say by the end of this weekend you'll get at least half of the His and Her podcast and half of the Reason Reborn up by then, because I'm actually off this weekend. I actually have time to work on that stuff. But again, thank you. Appreciate you. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Mr. Sumo, do you have any words of wisdoms? Or actually, do you have a suggestion for any books this week?
Oh, shit. Of course I do. I totally didn't forget to do that.
I mean, hell, we have this living book that we're writing right now.
I would. I don't know if I've recommended it before, but I would go with "Heretic" by Ayaan Hirsi Ali. It's a what do you call it, autobiography largely, but it's by a woman who lived in several majorly Islamic countries, and she talks about growing up in that culture with that religion, and eventually as a girl, which is a rough story at points to read, or listen to if you do the audiobook, but it's very enlightening. She goes through her childhood dealing with that type of religiousness in her life, that type of culture in her life, going through several Islamic countries and growing up and eventually escaping, which is essentially what she did. She like ran and sought asylum in Europe, and started her life there. And it's a very interesting life story. It's very inspiring. It makes you love the idea of the West and democracy and all that shit when you see what she went from to what she learned to appreciate. It's a beautiful book. I'll send a link over about it.
Nice. Yeah. So that link will be in the description if you want to check that out. Of course, if you want to do audio, you can get it on Amazon. If you want to just get the book, you can pick that up through whatever device you use.
Thought it would be nice to suggest one that's more of a story than the books I normally recommend, which aren't really stories. They're just like discussion or science books and shit like that. So yeah. I know people like a narrative.
Yeah. So there you have it. Thank you for that suggestion, sir. So again, thank you everybody for listening, watching. We will see you next week with more shenanigans. I'm gonna make a prediction. We're gonna have less than 20 stories to sift through. I feel like he's gonna take a rest. It's getting close to Easter. Maybe he'll give us a break. We can concentrate on the Easter Bunny and Palm Sunday and all that.
I won't shit on your hopes. I'm just gonna say, and I think I've said it before, big appreciation to all those fake news people who are doing all the hard work of keeping up with this shit. I don't know how you do it, but appreciate you. And hopefully America is learning to appreciate you too, because it looks like some rough work.
Yeah, because this was tiring. We just spent almost 3 hours talking about some bullshit. Blew my buzz. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good evening. We'll see you next time on the Reason Reborn. Deuces.